In today's video, we are going to very quickly go over all of the games that I had on the Nintendo GameCube when I was a teenager, so let's get into it. So as many of you know, the GameCube was the console that really solidified me as a gamer. That was the console when I finally started to realize I am a true gamer and I'll love video games for the rest of my life. Now when I was a teenager and I owned a GameCube, by the end of the time that I had my GameCube, before I sold my collection, I had around 90 games for the GameCube. Now the reason that I had so many games back in those days when I was a teenager is because I had a job for the first time. I was making my own money and the only bill I had was my car payment, and that was it. So I had a lot of disposable income, and pretty much the only thing I spent my money on was GameCube games. There was a local retro store down the road from where I worked, so I would get off work and I would go over there and I would buy GameCube games. And you know, that was kind of my thing. Every payday I would go buy some GameCube games. So I amassed a very awesome collection of around 90 GameCube games, and I want to go through those games with you all today. Now, because there's so many of them, we're going to be moving through these games in rapid fire. So I own both 007 Agent Under Fire and 007 Nightfire. I had so much fun playing through the single player campaigns in both of these games. I really liked to try to do stealth as much as possible using a silenced weapon. I found that to be the most enjoyable way to play, although you can't always do that. And the multiplayer was a lot of fun as well. Alien Hominid, I remember having so much fun playing this game, and it kicked my ass because it's a pretty hard game, and now it's one of the more rare and expensive games on the GameCube. Animal Crossing, one of my favorite games on the GameCube, one of the best games on the GameCube. I was horribly addicted to it, and I fell in love with the Animal Crossing series to this day. But also to this day, the first game will always be my favorite for nostalgic reasons and because I have the best memories with it. Batman Vengeance, I don't really remember this game a whole lot. I have vague memories of playing it, but I don't remember beating it. I do remember enjoying it though, so I need to pop it in and play it sometime soon, so maybe I can bring back more of those memories. Beyond Good and Evil, this is one of my favorite games of all time, one of the best games on the GameCube. I recently played through it and reviewed it for an episode of GameCube Gallery. If you want to check that out, there will be a link to that in the description down below. You're going to hear that a lot today. Such a fantastic story, such an epic game, and I've beat it probably 5 times in my life. It's just one of those games that I can play time and time again every few years. Black and Bruised. I don't have a whole lot of memories of this game, but I do remember playing it and enjoying it. It's a very, very fun kind of arcadey, cartoony, over-the-top boxing game. This is another one I need to play again so I can maybe bring back some more of those memories. Bloody Roar Primal Fury. I remember this being a pretty badass game, but if I'm being honest, the reason I bought this game when I was a teenager is because boobs.
You're a creep. You know that? You're a real creep.
Burnout and Burnout 2 Point of Impact. Now, I played Burnout 2 a hell of a lot more than I did the first Burnout game. I remember it being a rush, really fast-paced racing game. I remember really enjoying the crash mode and just seeing the crashes in general in the game. They were very impressive. We had seen nothing like it until these games came out. And they're both just an absolute blast to play. I love a good arcade racing game. Both Call of Duty games. I don't remember them a whole lot, but I do remember playing both of them. I don't think I beat either of them, but I remember enjoying them and thinking they were some pretty fun war first-person shooters. Dead to Rights. This is another game I don't have a whole lot of memories of, but I do remember the bullet time combat, and I do remember using your dog to take down enemies, and I remember the game being pretty fun. Die Hard Vendetta. This is really not a good first-person shooter, but it's still kind of fun. And I remember enjoying it when I was younger, but it is objectively not that great of a game. Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem, or Requiem, however you want to pronounce it. This is a fantastic game, a very creepy game, a very unique game, and I have fond memories of playing it. I never did beat it. I think I made it about halfway through the game, but I remember the sanity meter, and I remember the first time that, number one, it acted like the game got reset or the GameCube turned off. I remember it acting like my memory card was being erased, and I remember that actually tricking me. Like, the game trolled me for real, but it's a fantastic game, and it's a mature rated first party Nintendo game. Evolution Worlds. I don't remember this game that well. I do remember the dungeon crawling aspects of it. I remember it being pretty fun with the turn-based combat, but it seems like it did get pretty repetitive. But it's definitely a game I want to relive one day. Extreme G. I had so much fun with this game. Such a fast-paced, futuristic motorcycle racing game. It's a rush to play, and I have pretty fond memories of it. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicle. Now, here's the funny thing about Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. Back in the day, I didn't actually play it with people. I played it by myself. I played single player, and I remember playing quite a bit of it. And I remember sort of enjoying it back in the day, but I never did beat it, so I feel like it might have got monotonous and repetitive. Freedom Fighters. Now here's one of my favorite hidden gems on the GameCube, and I actually did an episode of GameCube Gallery on Freedom Fighters, linked in the description down below. Make sure you check that out. Freedom Fighters is just a fantastic third-person shooter. Fantastic. This is a game that I wish would be remade. I remember playing it and beating it and having so much fun, and I felt like a badass when I beat it because it's a pretty challenging game. Gladius. This was an awesome game. Again, it's another game I didn't end up beating, but it is a very, very cool tactical RPG, and I remember having a lot of fun. I was pretty addicted to it, and it's a pretty tough game too. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee. This is another one I don't have a whole lot of memories with, but I do remember playing it and thinking it was pretty damn cool to be playing as these giant kaiju monsters like Godzilla and all the other monsters from the Godzilla franchise. And but I just don't remember, you know, it fondly, if that makes sense. GoldenEye Rogue Agent. I have some pretty decent memories with this game, mainly with the single player campaign. It's a pretty damn action-packed, just balls to the walls single player campaign. It's not like the other Bond games. It's just straight up action, and you can dual wield weapons. It's a lot of fun. Gun. I actually beat Gun on the GameCube, and I remember being blown away by it. As a matter of fact, I think Gun might be one of the first open world games I ever played, and I remember playing it to the end and just having a lot of fun with it. And it was a pretty brutal and violent game too at the time. Hitman 2 Silent Assassins. I really loved this game. I never did beat it. I wasn't that good at it back in the day. I think I only made it to the 3rd level, but what I did play of it, I had a lot of fun, and it's definitely a game I want to revisit in the near future. Hulk. So this game is okay. It's not near as good as the other Hulk game we're going to talk about later in the video, but I do remember enjoying this game and having fun with the combat, and I even enjoyed the stealth missions where you play as Dr. Banner, you know, so it's a decent game, but it's certainly not the best Hulk game. Hunter the Reckoning. This is a really, really fun up to 4-player co-op game that is sort of like a game like Diablo or Gauntlet or Baldur's Gate, but it's horror themed, and it is so much fun. You just kill just hundreds and hundreds of zombies and monsters of all kinds. The characters are all pretty cool and fun to play with, and I have memories of playing this game with my brother, who is sadly no longer with us, so that makes this game even more special to me. Ikaruga. This is one of my favorite shoot-em-ups of all time, and I remember being obsessed with beating this game back in the day. And the day that I finally did beat it, oh man, that felt so good. This is one of those games where it will kick your ass until you practice and practice and practice and get better and better and better. iNinja, fantastic action 3D platformer. It's very quirky and silly. The combat and gameplay is a lot of fun. And it's a pretty hard game too, and I never did beat it, so it's yet another game that I need to pop back in and try to replay one day, and that's another hidden gem on the GameCube. Killer 7, one of the strangest games, one of the strangest and most unique games I've ever played, from the crazy mind of Suda51 and Grasshopper manufacturer. Killer 7 is a bizarre game. I remember really, really enjoying it. It's kind of creepy too, but I never did beat it, so it's yet another game that I need to revisit. Luigi's Mansion, one of the best games on the GameCube, and it is also the first game I ever played on the GameCube. So of course I have fond memories. It's the first game I ever owned. And funnily enough, it's also the last game I had to buy to complete my GameCube collection, which is, that's a long story. But anyways, fantastic game, beat it multiple times, and I have some just really great memories with Luigi's Mansion. Mario Kart Double Dash. I was addicted to this game and I got really freaking good at it, especially in the battle mode. I got so good, I'm not bragging or anything, but I got so good in the battle mode that I was able to snipe people with green turtle shells. I'm not bragging or anything. I was pretty great at this game, and it is one of my favorite Mario Kart games. I think it's one of the best and one of the most unique Mario Kart games, and I still play it to this day. All 3 Medal of Honor games, I really enjoyed these games back in the day. Playing through the single player campaign was a lot of fun, and I think they still hold up a little bit even today. Metal Arms Glitch in the System. This is another hidden gem on the GameCube. Fantastic third-person shooter, very funny. It felt like Halo to me. It kind of had a third-person silly Halo vibe to it. Hard game, so much fun, but here's what pisses me off. I made it to the final boss in this game. It took forever, and the game kept freezing on the final boss, so because of that, I was never able to complete the game. So I gotta sit down and rectify that one day. Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. Up until the release of this game, I had never played a Metal Gear Solid game before, and when I played this game, I got completely addicted to it. As a matter of fact, I played and beat it like 10 times over the course of a couple of weeks, to the point to where I was able to beat it in a couple of hours. I was able to speed run it. So much fun, and it's a game that I want to replay in the near future. Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 2, 2 of the best games on the GameCube, especially the first Metroid Prime. And I have so many memories with these games. I enjoyed them so much. The exploration, the combat, the boss battles, everything was on point in both of these games, and they were groundbreaking at the time. The graphics were amazing, and it's been a while since I played them, so I need to get on it and revisit them. Mortal Kombat Deception and Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. I have memories playing both of these games, but I have the most memories playing Mortal Kombat Deception, in particular the Conquest mode, which was sort of like a open world adventure mode in a Mortal Kombat game, and I remember having a lot of fun with it. NBA Street, one of my favorite arcade sports games of all time. I was absolutely addicted to this game, and I got so good that I could just destroy the computer AI on the hardest difficulty level. I'm not bragging or anything. And I remember playing against my brother, the one that unfortunately is no longer with us, but I remember playing with my brother and really kicking his ass at the game, and it pissed him off. So this is another game that's very special to me, not just because of it's a great game, but also because of the memories of playing it with my brother. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. This is the only Need for Speed game on the GameCube I remember owning and playing, and I really enjoyed it. The police chase mechanic was a lot of fun, and they'll set up traps on the road and just all kinds of crazy stuff, roadblocks and stuff like that. It just added a new dynamic to a racing game that we had never really seen before, and it was a rush, and it was a lot of fun. NHL Hits 2002. Gaming Off the Grid knows a little something about this game. So this is another one of my favorite arcade sports games of all time. It's another one that I was incredibly addicted to when I was younger, and I got really good at the game. But I'm not bragging or anything. I've kind of lost those skills now, as I found out the hard way at Siege when I was playing with Gaming Off the Grid and Megadan 29, but I do plan on revisiting this game in the near future, and I'm going to try to get those skills back. So Gaming Off the Grid, next time we play, I'll be able to play right alongside you and kick some ass. Pac-Man World 2. This is another game I never did beat, but I do remember really enjoying it and thinking that it was actually a pretty solid 3D platformer. It's one that I never really heard anybody talk about. Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. What can I say about this game? It's one of my favorite games of all time. It is my favorite RPG of all time, and one of my favorite GameCube games. It is a masterpiece in every way. Fantastic story, fantastic gameplay, so many funny moments, so many epic moments. Play it. Pikmin. So I'm ashamed to say that the first Pikmin game is the only one that I've ever played, and I never did beat it. So I really need to revisit the Pikmin series, starting with Pikmin 1, and play through the whole series. PN03, or some people call it PN03, or just PN3, whatever you want to call it. I remember really liking this game. It's another game I never beat, but I thought it was very unique. It had a unique combat system. I think it just got a little bit too repetitive for me, which is why I never beat it. So it became clear to me about halfway through filming this that this is going to be a long video with 90 games that I'm talking about. So I've decided to split this video into 2 parts. So this is the end of part 1. If you enjoyed part 1, let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like. Let me know in the comments down below what games on the GameCube you remember having as a kid or a teenager. And I will see you guys in part 1. Keep playing games and having a good time. I'll catch you all in the next video. Later. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. You're freaking awesome. And if you enjoyed it, hit that like button, share it with your friends and family. Check out all the social media links in the description down below. And if you want to see more RetroWolf88 videos, here's a couple more for you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go play some more video games. Later.